All right, well, really great to see how many of you are interested in customer marketing. So today I'm going to go through how customer marketing can excel or scale the efforts of your customer success team. So I'm going to give an overview of what customer marketing looks like at Trustpilot. Then I'll go into a deep dive of how I created one of our most successful campaigns. And then I'm going to talk about what type of impact we have today and what type of reach we want to see in the future, and where do we see customer marketing developing within Trustpilot. So I'm the Global Customer Marketing Manager, and I'm in charge of the global campaigns and the global customer marketing initiatives that we have. So it's all about making the customer successful in using Trustpilot. So for those of you who don't know who Trustpilot is or what we do, Trustpilot is the largest online review community, and what we do is we connect shoppers and consumers to businesses, and we do that via reviews. So customers that join Trustpilot usually join for a variety of reasons, but one of the main reasons is gaining social proof. So for our customers to be successful with Trustpilot, it's very important that they collect reviews and they share those reviews on their websites. So just before we get into customer marketing, I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of why we started with Tatango and what kind of benefits we saw. So Trustpilot has been growing 40% year over year. And one of the challenges that has created for us is keeping visibility of our customers. So our customer success team has been using Tatango as a way to keep an eye on customers' engagement with Trustpilot and their health. And customer marketing now has been using Tatango as a way to further develop our accounts and our customers. And when we started using Tatango just about 3 years ago, we really saw that we had a really great opportunity to scale the current efforts of our customer success team. So one of the ways we could have overcome the challenge of growing is growing our customer success team, but we saw that it was beneficial for us to actually grow the current or develop the current initiatives that we already had in place. So this is our customer marketing team. It's the three of us, including myself here in the middle. So I'm focused mainly on Europe, so I'm located in our headquarters in Copenhagen, while our director and our coordinator focus on US and Australia, and therefore are located in the New York office. It's really important for us to have a very open communication with the CSMs. This is the way we figure out communication or gaps that are missing. And we also can customize the things that we need for the different markets that we're working with. And one thing that I wanted to show here as well is the difference in the size of our team compared to the size of the customer success team that we support. That is 24 times larger than we are. And our customer base, which is 4,000 times larger than we are. So it might look like we are a bit outnumbered, and we are, but because we have a system that allows us to segment our customers based on behavior, target them at relevant times with relevant resources, and do it at scale, we're able to fulfill the needs of our customer success teams and nurture the customers that we have. So now I'm going to get into the areas that customer marketing at Trustpilot is involved in, efforts that we have in place, and areas that we actually drive completely. So I'll go over these into a little bit of detail of why we are in these areas, and then I'll give you some examples in the further slides of what type of campaigns we build in these areas. But just before we start, just from a show of hands, how many of you have implemented a customer marketing team already? Quite a few of you. Okay. That's great. So if you're implementing customer marketing team or just starting to get it off the ground, make sure that your customer marketing team is involved in these areas. This is probably very standard for customer success, but don't limit your customer marketing from being involved in these areas. So let's start with onboarding. One of the most effective ways customer marketing can get involved is automating communication that is done by the CSM over and over again, so repetitive work. And this was very evident in our onboarding. We saw that our customer success managers before our customer marketing team, was writing one email to our customers for the onboarding and was jam-packing with all this product adoption information. So once we had a customer marketing team, we stepped in, took that task, and actually automated that communication over a full month. Product adoption. A lot of you probably in your business have sticky features or some type of customer engagement that you can recognize will most likely entail a renewal. And for us, it's very evident in Trustpilot. But our customer success managers can have up to 400 customers, and that is quite difficult for them to oversee how the customers are behaving, especially when customers are growing and adopting and using new features at all different stages. So one way that we can be very effective is segment those customers and target them with product related information. Engaging or identifying and engaging with customers that want to go above and beyond Trustpilot. They want to partake in different types of initiatives. This is an area that goes beyond product adoption, beyond using features and tools. So it's actually an area that our customer success managers have little to no involvement in. So this is an area that we fully drive ourselves. And the sales area, the last part, this might be a bit controversial. Probably not all of your CS teams are probably involved in this area. At Trustpilot, it's very natural, I guess, for our customer success managers to have this conversation about renewal, about upsells with our customers, but they need help in this area. So this is an area that we also strongly support. So now that you kind of got an overview of the areas that we have our efforts in and put different initiatives in, I'm going to show you some of the campaigns that we have going out of these areas. And the first one is onboarding. So how many of you actually use campaigns tool into Tango? Quite a few of you. Okay. So for those of you who don't use it, on the left-hand side, I have a screenshot of what that preview of that email will look like. And over here, this is the metrics and the performance of the email. So with onboarding, as I mentioned, we had taken that communication, automated it, and spread it over 1 month. So in the onboarding, our customers will get 4 emails that look like this, and in every email, I'm asking them to implement or adopt a new tool. And so I know you can't read what is on this email, and that's okay. The point is that I want you to see what the look of it is. And this is a plain text email, and we actually sign it from the customer success manager. So this is something that I wrote it with the CSMs, but we send it from them. So it looks personalized and directed to them. Before I had banners and I made it more customer marketing-like. And the issue with that was customers were thinking I was trying to sell them something instead of adopting something that they had already initially bought. And when I set the campaigns, I also want to set the goals in the campaigns. And the reason I want to do this, I want to see how successful my campaign is. So in email 1, I'm wanting them to adopt product X, and then I can see how effective and how successful my campaign was. And the same with the second email, adopting product Y. All right, product engagement. So we have 4 different initiatives within product engagement. A lot more, but I'm going to show you 4. And the first one is product updates. So a lot of you probably add new features to your product, and we love to show our customers the new kind of value added that we're putting into the product, the new innovations that we have. I think our product team has over 100 new innovations a year, and this is something that we want the customers, to be excited about and going back into the product and using it. Circuit breakers, these are campaigns for customers that are not adopting those sticky features that we know entail a renewal. And this is a very important area for us, and the deep dive that I'm going to get into is actually going to be covering this area, so we'll go into more detail about that. Milestone achievements. So this is probably a standard communication that you have. We want to make sure that we're celebrating the customer when they implement a tool or a feature, and kind of just let them know what the benefits are that they have achieved implementing that tool and what are the next steps. So we are a SaaS company. We are talking a lot about SEO and click-through rates, and we work with Google, so we talk about Google seller ratings and rich snippets and all this jargon. is not very easy for the customer to understand. So when they do achieve something, we want to say, congratulations, well done, and this is what you get out of it. And performance reports, this is something that we send once a month to the customer to let them know how their account is performing. So we depict it really nicely, really easy for them to read. What are the key metrics that they have? How are they performing? What areas are they lacking in? What areas should they focus more on so they know that they're going to be on track to get that ROI that they want out of using Trustpilot? And sales. So some of our customers either tell us that they're interested in trying a new tier. I didn't say this before, but the tiers that we have is Light, Pro, and Enterprise. And so some of our customers, as they start growing and they start using the tools, they actually outgrow the tier. And they're ready to develop and they're ready to move on and try out a new tier. So what we do is we give access to the customer to a premier tier. So what is it like getting that communication? What is it like having the communication with the CSM? So we take them through the nurture emails, the milestone achievements, and the performance reports. And then we also put in a success play for the CSM. So I'm sure some of you probably use success plays already, but we also use it in marketing. And then we trigger an email to the customer success manager, say, hey, your customer just went through this trial. Why don't you reach out to them, see how they liked it, see if they're happy, and then close that deal, make that upsell. So now we're going to go into the deep dive. This is focusing on one campaign that was very successful for us. It's a product adoption campaign. So we send this out to customers that are not adopting the sticky feature and usually worry us that they're not going to renew come renewal term. So for those of you that have Tatango and that are already using segmentation and stuff, this is what it looks like for those of you that don't. But what I'm going to go through is first target group, then I'm going to go through how I built the flow and the content of the email, and then we're going to look at what type of success we saw coming from that. So when I first build my segment, the first thing I think about is my goal. What do I want to achieve with this? And of course, with the product adoption, you want to tell them what the benefits of the tool is, and then you want them to adopt. But I also want to look, as a global manager, I want to see, am I targeting a certain customer success manager? Am I targeting a certain customer success team? Or am I doing this globally? Or is it one market? Or is it another? I also want to look at what tier or package this customer is on. You obviously don't want to be promoting a tool that this customer doesn't have access to. And you also want to take a look at the length of the subscription. So this is a pretty heavy campaign. It's really pushing this type of adoption on a product. So I want to make sure that I'm not targeting them during the onboarding, or I'm not targeting them close to renewal. I want to make sure that it's a relevant point in time where it's relevant for the customer to implement this tool or this feature that I am promoting. And this is the campaign flow. So the customer gets 5 emails over 1 month. And as the customer goes through the emails, the urgency of adopting this product gets higher and higher. So in the first email, we just say, hey, did you know this tool was available, and here's the benefit that you can have. And then we send a second email 2 days after. That's a plain text email that looks a bit more personalized, and we send them a case study. And this is a case study that has content of a company who has implemented this tool and has found XYZ success out of implementing this tool and what benefits they saw. Then we follow up with the third campaign here. We just say, hey, did you know that the type of benefits that you can get out of implementing this product? Here's an implementation guide. This is the how-to. And make it really easy for them to notice the benefits and to figure out how to implement it themselves. Then we send another follow-up email 2 days after that one, and we send them another case study showing them how a different company implemented the tool and what type of results they saw out of it. And then in the last email, we say, hey, we realize that you still haven't adopted this tool. What are your concerns? What are the issues? And if you need any type of strategy help, or if you want to talk implementation, please give us a call. So the really last effort of this email, if they haven't successfully implemented the campaign, is reach out to your customer success manager. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you implement it. So we make that note at the end. So looking into the success of this campaign, this is an ongoing campaign, but so far we have sent it to 2,000 customers. Of those 2,000 customers, 300 have converted, 15% conversion. And those 300 customers equal to $700,000 in ACV that we have been able to secure. And the reason that we have been able to secure it is because these customers are now using the sticky features that we know entail renewal. And that is because they're using a tool that they're going to be able to see the ROI out of using Trustpilot. So a lot of you might think like 15 conversion is not that high, but this is without any CSM involvement. This is primarily from me creating these communications, giving the how-tos, showing how to implement, and then getting this secured value number. So now let's look into what type of impact we have today with customer marketing. I think it's quite evident to see that we are really able to help our CSMs in not only nurturing the customer, taking them through that customer journey, but also helping the customers not necessarily holding their hands, but walking them through some of the difficult implementations. And this is just two other examples of campaigns where we have been able to secure this value, again, because our customers are implementing these sticky features. So it's in the thousands, in the millions. It depends, for your businesses when you're doing this, that those numbers might be different. But it's a huge value without having any CSM or little CSM involvement. And where do we see customer marketing go in the future? Because we can nurture the customers so well, and because we can take them through this customer journey. Yesterday in one of the presentations, we had these little guys trekking up a mountain, and then they have to go up one mountain and they have to go up the next. Well, it's very similar to what our customers are going through. But because we have Tatango, because we can use these campaigns to nurture the customer, we're actually looking to take full ownership of light tier accounts or smaller accounts, that the products and the tools that they're adopting are not as heavy as to implement. And that's something that we can do with webinars, with go-to videos, with communications via campaigns. And that takes a lot of the efforts and the customer success attention and allows them to focus on these customers, these bigger customers or larger ACV customers that really need that one-to-one customized attention, because those tools are much harder for them to implement. Well, thank you very much. I know this is probably a lot of information all at once. So if you guys want to talk one-on-one afterwards, or you want to talk strategy, please just come talk to me. Also, if any of you guys are in a Trustpilot, you can just come talk to me afterwards, and we'll take you through a trial, and you can test out how my communications go. So thank you.
Questions? I have them.
Yeah, so we do have a blog. I actually don't write that. I write some blog posts, but we actually have another manager that's in charge of the blog posts, and that's actually on our website. And this is something that we don't send the blogs to the customers. This is something that we let them know at onboarding. We let them know all the different resources. So we have a support team and we have a blog team. And so we just let them know, hey, this is where you have access to things. So we don't send them the blogs unless it's, sometimes in my emails, I want to link to support articles that our support team writes, or if our blogger has written something that's relevant to what I'm writing in my communication, then I will send the links to them so they have that. Yes?
When you are doing your campaigns, you showed a snapshot of your goals and all that.
Yeah.
We use Tatango as well in our campaigns, and we've really struggled with setting goals.
Yeah.
What kind of attributes do you guys use to determine what your goals are and measure the
Yes.
success of your campaign?
Yeah, smart. Good question. So the attributes that we set is based on the tool or what we want them to do. So, and the ones that you saw here, we wanted them to collect reviews automatically. You can collect reviews manually, but the best way to do it is automatic. So when I set my attribute in the goal, I set it that the customer has now converted to using an automatic. And that means that they've reached what I wanted them to do. They adopted the product. And there can be different things. Maybe it's a different tool. Maybe I want them to put something on their website, So then the attribute that I will use will be they've used this tool and it's on their website, and I can see that. So I guess the reason that we have these attributes is because we have a really good engineering team in the back end that's adding all this data into Tatango for us, so we can keep an eye on when the customer is doing these types of things, which allows me to have the goal. If we didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to set the goals very, very well. And I pay attention to the goals. Like I think if you, I wonder if I can go back. But when you see it, here we are. I mean, you also look at like delivered, and you look at viewed and engaged. And engaged means like click open. But when I really know that they have converted, that's ultimate success for me. That's where I want to see my numbers really increasing. Does that help? Okay. Yeah.
A few quick questions. The first one is, do you use Tatango campaigns in conjunction with another marketing automation tool, like Pardot, Marketo, or anything?
Yeah, good question. No, we don't. We primarily use Tatango, and we thought about using HubSpot. But the thing is that we couldn't develop those as well as we could Tatango. With Tatango, we can put so much data into it. It can read off of our B2B portal. It can read the customers' websites, and they can read these type of things that they are adopting. And so it's customizable to what I need. And so when we first started, I was like, okay, we need this, and it took a week to do it. Now I get it within a day. So it's very easy to oversee those things. Also, our customer success managers are using Tatango every day. So what's really good is that they have visibility over what I'm sending to the customer. So they see, okay, our customer received X email. It probably means I should follow up and see what's going on or what type of help they need. So yes, to answer your question short, we only use Tatango.
Awesome. And then do you ever hear feedback that you're over communicating to customers, and how do you find that sweet spot?
Yes.
That's something I've definitely struggled with.
Yes, very, very good question. And we talk a lot about that within my team and also with the CSMs. So when we set our emails, I really try to base it on trigger, or I try to base it on behavior as opposed to a customer timeline. It's more of a journey than a timeline. So I don't hit them at month 4 and I don't hit them at month 6, but I hit them when they did or they achieved something, or they're not doing this at this certain period. So I try to tackle when it's really relevant for them, not just when it's relevant for me or when it's on a timeline that I want my campaigns to flow. So it's based on triggers of behavior of the customer. One thing that we also look at is unsubscribe rate. So you'll have the unsubscription rate in the campaign. I cut it off, but it's usually like sitting right over here if you have Tatango. And I look at that, and especially with a heavy campaign with 5 emails, customers might be like, okay, that's too much. I need to keep an eye on it. I need to find that like you said, that sweet spot to make sure that I'm not over communicating on things. So we just watch that. If it goes too high, then we say, okay, we need to either clean up the data, shorten it, or sorry, not data, information, or we need to cut down on how many campaigns we have.
Two questions. One, are you part of marketing or customer success? And second, who is signing the email? Is it a success or a marketing function?
Great question. So I am customer marketing. I am on the marketing team, but I sit with customer success. And my success is customer success. Customer success. So I work very, very closely with them. I want to make sure that what I do is helping them. So it might kind of seem like the teams are intertwined, and we are, and it's meant to be like that. And going back to your second question on the design, that would be me. So it's very, I mean, we, on these type of things, like we just put in a banner, and the rest is actually the template from Tatango, so it's a lot easier than maybe what it first looks like. We actually just hired an intern designer to help us with these banners, because that's, I mean, we're not designers by nature, and we don't know the Adobe software or InDesign software to create these things. But one thing, I mean, when we first started as customer marketing, we were quite scrappy. I mean, it started out one person talking to the CSM and saying, hey, what do you need? What kind of communication is missing? and then they'd write it in a plain text email, and that still got the point across, and that still was effective. And so we are not copywriters. We didn't get a degree in writing content or anything like that, and we're not designers by any means, but we're able just to pull these kind of resources together, get an intern to help us out, and then we're able to create stuff like this. So it's not as hard as it looks. I'll say that. Yeah, so it depends. So in this one, I'm signing this email, and from the other one, it's a CSM. So it just depends, what do you want the tone of the email to be? If it's marketing related or anything like that, I will probably sign it from customer marketing. I'll sign it from our director. But if it was meant to be from the customer success manager, which it often is, then I will assign it from the customer success manager. Sometimes we will have like our director wants to make an announcement to our customers, and so we'll sign it from the VPs. So you can sign it from essentially whoever you want. Just make sure you have the strategy behind of why you're doing what you're doing. Bring them up.
I'll just do one though. Have you seen better open rates from HTML emails or plain text?
Oh, good
That's an
question.
easy question. We'll start with that. And then if I have time, I'd love to find out if you are the mechanism of customer feedback from CS back up to the top of the funnel to refine the ICP, or if you guys go a different way with getting that data back up to your marketing team.
Yeah. Well, to answer your first question, what was your first question? I got you. HTML. Yes, thank you. I want to say HTML because it looks more personalized and it looks like it's meant directly for that person. And because often the HTML ones, they are signed from the customer success manager, so it looks like it's coming right out of their email address. So yeah, I would go with HTML. I mean, it depends. I mean, this one, we don't have a banner, but we have a video, so it just depends on what type of communication we want to have. As you saw in my deep dive, we kind of throw in two at the same time, so we hit them with the marketing, and then we hit them with something personal. So play with the two together and see how that works out. And to answer your second question, it was about feedback, right? So how do we take that feedback? So we have some feedback about onboarding, and that we take in that information that we take to the VPs of customer success, and then we take it to the customer success team leads, and we discuss it. We kind of look at what things we need to improve, what things we need to work on. So we work very closely with our VPs of customer success, and then the team leads that are managing the CS teams.